Ever wonder why some fighters look unstoppable while others struggle in the octagon? It's not just who hits harder. It's about understanding the fight on a deeper level. In the Fighter Index, we break every fight down using the 4 pillars: fight IQ and athletic tools, striking and stand-up defense, grappling and control, and defense, scrambles and ground survival. From there, we score 16 unique attributes, showing exactly where fighters dominate, where they struggle, and the key areas to watch. By the end of this video, you'll see fights not just as moments of action, but as a chess match of skills, strategy, and decision-making. And you'll know exactly how to spot the winners before the final bell. Here's an example of elite striking from Anderson Silva. What makes this striking special is his complete control of distance and timing. Here, he completely dismantles Forrest Griffin in near-flawless execution. This is an example of a 10 in striking. Note his expert gauge and range, his ability to slip Forrest's punches, and time a perfect right hand using Forrest's momentum against him. Anderson didn't rush Forrest. He invited him in and had complete control the entire time. This is what a 2 on the Fighter Index looks like. Ben Askren's striking wasn't a weapon, it was a liability. Here you'll see awkward entries, no defense, and no setup. Every exchange put him off balance and behind. This is an example of a solid 8 in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu attribute category. This is one of the slickest knee bars you'll likely to see in the UFC. Claudio Poyes threatens Clay Guida with an omoplata from off the back, and after a brief scramble, Clay is one step behind. He isolates Clay's leg, locks his hips, and it's game over. Breaking down a fight doesn't have to be guesswork. Most MMA fights are decided by the same 4 factors, no matter the weight class or style. The Fighter Index uses 4 pillars to turn chaos into structure. Each pillar represents a different phase of the fight and a way a fight is decided. Fight IQ and athletic tools, striking and stand-up defense, grappling and control, and last, defense, scrambles, and ground survival. Inside each pillar are 4 attributes, 16 total, that work together to show how complete or vulnerable a fighter really is. The first pillar in analyzing a fight is fight IQ and athletic tools. This pillar determines who can execute a plan when the fight gets hard. The 4 components or attributes that make up this pillar are fight IQ, athleticism, gas tank, and resolve. Fight IQ is decision-making, adaptability, and awareness under pressure. Athleticism is a fighter's speed, explosiveness, agility, and physical tools. Gas tank combines cardio, output sustainability, and recovery. And resolve is a fighter's ability to stay composed and continue executing under adversity, fatigue, and momentum swings. The second pillar is striking and stand-up defense. This is about damage, durability, and survival on the feet. Within this pillar, we have striking, clinch, striking defense, and chin. Striking is the effectiveness, variety, and impact of stand-up offense. Clinch is a fighter's effectiveness in close-range fighting against the fence or body-to-body. Striking defense is the ability to avoid, block, parry, and mitigate damage. And chin is the ability to absorb strikes without being finished. The third pillar is grappling and control. This pillar decides who gets to put the fight where they want it. It's made up of wrestling, takedown offense, top control, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Wrestling is the ability to initiate and dictate grappling exchanges. Takedown offense is completing takedowns consistently. Top control is the ability to maintain dominant positions and limit escape. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is submission skill and positional control on the ground. The last and final pillar is defense, scrambles, and ground survival. This pillar determines how hard a fighter is to get down and hold down. The elements of this pillar are takedown defense, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu defense, off the back, And the last attribute is scrambles. Takedown defense is the ability to stop or neutralize takedown attempts. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu defense is the ability to avoid submissions and bad positions. Off the back is the effectiveness of a grounded fighter when fighting from bottom position. And scrambles are the ability to transition, reverse, or escape during grappling exchanges. So those are the 4 pillars and the attributes inside each one. Every fighter has them, but not at the same level. That's where the index scale comes in. It's how the fighter index measures how strong or weak each attribute actually is, relative to the UFC level. On the index scale, a 1 or 2 signals a major vulnerability. This isn't just an area that needs improvement at the UFC level. It's something that simply doesn't hold up. These are the kinds of gaps that opponents immediately recognize, that coaches build entire game plans around, and that show up again and again in losses. On the index scale, a 3 or 4 sits below the UFC standard. The ability is there, but it doesn't consistently translate once the fight heats up. It might work early or in the right moments, but sustained pressure starts to pull it apart. Against high-level specialists, this is where cracks will show. Because of that, these traits often need to be protected, covered by stronger areas of a fighter's game. A 5 on the index scale represents the UFC standard. It's the level where a skill works the way it's supposed to. Nothing flashy, nothing broken. It's holed up in real exchanges, against real opponents, across full rounds. On its own, it's not a fight winner, but it's also not a liability. This is the level a fighter needs just to operate in the UFC. Anything below this starts to create problems. Anything above it starts to create advantages. A 6 or 7 is where an ability turns into a real advantage. At this level, it's not just functioning, it's influencing the fight. Fighters can take control of exchanges, steal rounds, or swing momentum with it. Opponents can't ignore it. They have to account for it. Even under pressure, it doesn't fall apart. This is the point where the question shifts. Instead of asking whether the skill will survive, you start asking how the other side plans to game plan and deal with it. That's when an attribute starts influencing and shaping the fight itself. An 8 or 9 marks a truly elite ability. At this level, the skill isn't just effective. It dominates consistently against top competition. It can dictate who phases of the fight, forcing opponents to adjust or retreat. Pressure doesn't just test it. It bends around it. This isn't simply performing well, this is controlled. When a fighter carries an 8 or 9 in an attribute, it's often the reason they win. A 10 is extraordinarily rare. This is the kind of skill that only comes around once in a generation. It doesn't just win fights, it redefines how the game is played. These abilities set new standards, disrupt conventional strategies, and sometimes force entire divisions to adapt. Most fighters will never reach this level, and that's exactly what makes it special. That's how you break down a fight using the fighter index. By looking at the 4 pillars and scoring the 16 key attributes, you can see not just who won, but why they won. Every fight has patterns, strengths, and weaknesses waiting to be spotted, and now you know how to find them. Don't just watch fights. Understand them and see the octagon the way the pros do. If you like this breakdown, hit subscribe. There's a whole library of fighter analysis waiting for you.